Hey there, and welcome back to Swept Media at the convergence of AI and Web3. What a day. um, Before we get started, I should preface with saying that I did go to the Zero G meetup on Friday. This was a couple of days ago. The Zero G is the self-proclaimed first L1 dedicated to AI. It's an interesting project. I read into the white paper and got a grasp of what the technology is all about. I think the data layer aspect of it is the most promising part of it. However, the team never showed up to their own meetup. They were all here. They were here, but they just decided not to come. I guess they had some more important thing to do then, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to do a deeper dive into that project and see what it's all about. But can't do that, and I'm not probably going to until I can get access to the team. So you'll just have to wait until then. And in the meantime, we need to talk about Deepseek AI. This was one of the most unexpected days in the market in a long time because there was pretty decent uptrend. As you can see just from this chart, this is the NAS 100 chart. It's basically the top stocks from the NASDAQ stock index, or rather stock exchange, and it's the NAS 100 index, and it focuses very much on tech stocks. But you can see here at the very end there's a lot of red bars going down, and this is because it was revealed that Deepseek AI, a China-based LLM and AI company, was able to vastly, and I don't mean just a little bit, I mean vastly, outperform OpenAI, which is America's biggest, previously the world's most popular, and certainly one of the most expensive AI companies in the world. What you're seeing here is a precipitous drop in the price of NAS 100. Because of the news that a Chinese company was outperforming OpenAI. It dropped like 1,000 points. So 22,000, a little less than 22,000, wicking down to almost 20.5 in just a few hours. So I want to show you what this looks like. This is the 4-hour chart. Let's scale this down some in 1 hour. So each hour it was just down. You had a couple up. But then it drops so fast and so hard in this hour here that the chart can't even track it. Maybe we can see it in a smaller time frame. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Maybe there was a glitch, or maybe it was just so horrible, so fast. I mean, it's just tumbling. It's melting. Here, this is a 15-minute chart. That's a very big drop in a 15-minute interval. But it's starting to recover some here, it looks like, more recently. However, we need to see why this happened and why Deepseek AI has had such an impact on American markets. First of all, let's take a look at the App Store. This is Deepseek AI. It is currently the #1 downloaded app on Apple's App Store for the iPhone. I don't know if it's for the iPad. It's probably up there, maybe not #1. Maybe it's not even offered for iPad. But definitely on iPhone. And ChatGPT is #2. So this tells us two things. It tells us, first of all, that at least in the past month, Deepseek AI has become a phenomenon that cannot be ignored anymore. It's been around for a few years, but only recently in the past, I want to say 10 months or so, has Deepseek AI had any impact. And now we can see that its impact is greater than that of ChatGPT, at least in this short term. This is a big deal. There are billions of Apple users out there now downloading this app. I found some news reports on this. Of course, this is going to be a sensational type of headline. The Chinese obliterated OpenAI. And a lot of the headlines you're going to read are going to be delineating Deepseek AI as China and OpenAI as America. But that's really not... Okay, if you're a Chinese company, then it is very much a Chinese thing, and it's backed by China. But in America, you don't have to have just like American people helming the company, and the government doesn't control or at least have a stake in the company itself. So things aren't quite that black and white. However, this is kind of a semi-fair comparison to say that the Chinese obliterated OpenAI. Now this side-by-side comparison is going to open your eyes. The reason why Deepseek AI has had this impact on the market today and in the past couple days is because it was revealed that their model can generate outputs. Like every time you type in a prompt to ChatGPT and it gives you a response, that's an output. Anytime you go to an image generating AI program, you give it a prompt and it generates an image for you, that's an output. That stuff that requires a tremendous amount of compute, a tremendous amount of computing power to generate the output. It's not just happening from cached memory or anything like that. What's happening is it's taking the inputs, scanning and scraping for any data that's been indexed already that the LLM has access to, and then via its algorithm, it's going to put together an output that it believes makes most sense for your prompt. Doing that, getting the data, putting the data together in a human, meaningful way, and then generating that output, in many cases, requires a tremendous amount of power from a computer. That's why now you see the decentralized compute power programs or protocols, I should say, and the reason for something like an OpenAI needing to be worth or raise tens of billions of dollars at a time is to fund the computers, the chips that it uses in order to train its AIs. Deepseek AI says that they've been able to do this at the fraction of the amount of money that OpenAI has with a comparable performance. So here is a screenshot of the costs. ChatGPT costs about this much to do inputs and outputs. However, if we look at this chart here, okay, Deepseek v3, that's the one that is operational now. It costs 14 cents for an input, 28 cents for an output. That output is at least half as expensive as GPT-4, the mini version. That's the most commonly used version of ChatGPT. That's the free one. GPT-4.0 and OpenAI, those are ones you have to pay for. Same with DeepSeek AI 1. It's at least 5 times, almost 5 times cheaper on DeepSeek AI than OpenAI. And the outputs are comparable in quality, okay? Now, if you're one of those people who has never heard of OpenAI before, or rather never heard of DeepSeek AI because all you've ever heard of is OpenAI, especially now since Trump has raised that $500 billion from the likes of Sam Altman, who is the now CEO of OpenAI. Let's look and see a little bit of history about Deepseek AI. It's a company that was founded in Hangzhou a couple of years ago. Actually, from what I read, the concept of it came about even in the early 2010s from these two Chinese developers who were trading stocks or trading something in the market during the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008. And they felt that they could create a program that trades better for them, gives them information on a faster basis than anyone else. But they obviously didn't have any money and couldn't raise any money. Now it's being called a dark horse. So this is one of the main guys at NVIDIA. Now, how does NVIDIA factor into this? NVIDIA is a chip manufacturer. It's an American company helmed by a Taiwanese guy. It's one of the largest stocks in the world right now by market cap. It's over $1 trillion, if I remember correctly. Both OpenAI and DeepSeek AI use NVIDIA chips for their processing. So it's good for NVIDIA potentially as a company, but when you think about how NVIDIA has been impacted, it may not make sense. But let me explain it to you. When Deepseek AI is able to generate outputs at so much lower cost to the end user with the same or maybe even less computer power than an OpenAI, it makes NVIDIA less valuable because it means you don't need those as many chips. It means maybe OpenAI is going to cut down on the amount of chips that they use to train their AI from now on because they just don't need it. Maybe they can benchmark what Deepseek AI has done and realize that they don't need to have as much compute power as they've had before, which means less chips, which means less revenue for NVIDIA. So that's why you saw NVIDIA drop. That's why you saw Meta drop, because they just committed something like $60 billion to their research and development as well. So why Chinese startup Deepseek could spell trouble for NVIDIA. China's Deepseek startup roiled artificial intelligence-driven stocks on Monday, as Wall Street mulled huge investments by technology industry giants in AI infrastructure, as well as demand for NVIDIA chips. DeepSeek's apparent advances have raised questions over the computing power needed to develop AI systems, a key driver for AI stocks. Okay, so like I explained to you, if you're an AI company and you don't need to buy as many chips to get the same quality of output, it's going to reduce the cost to the end user, and it's going to reduce the invoice that you're going to send to NVIDIA for those chips. A lower invoice means lower revenue. Lower revenue means share prices are going to go down because expectations are lower. DeepSeek released its large language model, that's an LLM, in late December that had performance comparable to OpenAI and other AI systems despite U.S. government restrictions on exports of advanced chips. So how are they doing this without NVIDIA chips? That's another issue. On January 20th, DeepSeek released another LLM, this is the V3, that it said was trained at a fraction of the cost of AI systems from the big guys across the board. So that should explain to you why your portfolio is most likely down today. Let's take a look at the DeepSeek website. I unfortunately don't have an Apple phone and I don't have the DeepSeek app, but we can see what's going on their website here. DeepSeek V3 is the most recent version. Like the article said, it was released only a few weeks ago actually, and it's causing a stir. So here's some comparable stats about the versions of DeepSeek V3 against different versions of AI. So DeepSeek V3 against its own V2. You have Quen, you have Llama. Llama is a different, it's just another AI. Claude is of course Google's. GPT is OpenAI's. Let's see. Wow. So it's not the best in most categories. It does not outperform in most categories except for 2 in English. And so, three in English. Others are better, but not that far off. So 73.3, 80, that's about a 10% difference in quality on ChatGPT. 88.5 to 88.6, that's less than a percentage point. A big one here would be the simple QA, that's quality assurance. That's a large differential between what's available on ChatGPT. But if we look at the coding, the code itself is significantly better. And again, this is at a significantly lower cost, at least 50% cheaper for the end user in most cases. Very, very impressive. Now, if you're OpenAI and you're looking at your investors right now, you're probably taking a lot of unpleasant phone calls and reading a lot of unpleasant emails. What do you tell them? OpenAI is valued at $157. They raised $6.6 billion. $6.6 billion. That's US dollars. Let's see how much DeepSeek has raised. How much money did DeepSeek need to get the performance that they're getting. It says here, Deepseek reportedly spent only $5.6 million over 2 months to develop its latest AI model. 5.6 million with its M. It's an M. Compared to 6.6 billion. I know which one I would be using if I was an end user. If I'm trying to train, if I'm building my own AI and I needed to benchmark some other LLM, I'm not going to use OpenAI anymore. That's, as a business decision, that's a completely ridiculous option. If you're going to propose to me that I should use OpenAI because it's an American company or because it's what everyone uses, first of all, you'd be wrong. Not everyone is using it anymore. That has not been the case for some time. Secondly, it's not even necessarily the most powerful anymore. And thirdly, are you crazy? It's 1% of the cost. It's at 1% of the cost of OpenAI, and you're going to propose to me that I should use that. You're out of your mind. So this is why the NAS 100 looks like this today. And I'm sorry if you hold this, index, if you hold this stock, but you have to see the big picture. Crypto has taken a plunge too. I don't know why crypto would have taken a plunge on this. Bitcoin is way down. If Ethereum it never really was up. And other major cryptos are down too. Why, I don't know. That's probably a topic for a different video. But what I can say is that definitively this is going to be something that the American tech stocks are going to have to reckon with, or they are going to get taken over really, really quickly by Deepseek AI. I don't know much about the Deepseek AI team. I don't know how ambitious they are. I think we know for sure that Mark Zuckerberg is an extremely ambitious person. The guys who lead Google, they're obviously extremely ambitious and have been for some time. Sam Altman is so ambitious he'll do anything to get his money, including changing a non-profit company into a for-profit company after stating he wasn't in it for the money. What are these Chinese guys like, and how much stake does the CCP have in the company that has either contributed to its success or will contribute to its future success? This is something we need to track because it's something also that is going to come up a lot this year. So stay with us. I'll be keeping track of it and I'll be delivering all the news to you. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.